Pre-Module 4, Solving One-Step Equations. There are a couple types of one-step equations that we're going to look at. The first one is an addition type problem. If we are trying to get x alone and we are adding 5 here, in order to get rid of the addition of 5, we're going to need to subtract 5. What we do on one side of the equal sign, we have to do on the other side of the equal sign to keep the equation balanced. 7.4 minus 5 would be 2.4. So x has to equal 2.4. Of course, if you check that, 2.4 plus 5 is 7.4. Going across here, this says x subtract a negative 2 equals 7. Well, subtracting a negative is the same thing as adding. So we're going to change that problem to x plus 2. And then to solve it, we'll subtract 2 on both sides, which leaves me with 5 for x. Down here, this is a subtraction problem. If we're subtracting, in order to undo the subtraction, we're going to add 4.9 on both sides to get x by itself. 17.6 plus 4.9 gives us 22.5 for our missing number. And again, you can check these. 22.5, take away 4.9, gives you 17.6. Now this one's a little bit different over here because I switched the 4.9 and the x. So let's go ahead and subtract the 4.9 because it is a positive 4.9. So in order to get rid of a positive 4.9, we have to subtract it. That's going to leave me with a negative x and a 12.7. That's not x, that's negative x. How do you get positive x? There's a couple ways you can do it. I like to just divide by negative 1. That's really what's there. So this is multiplied. We divide by negative 1 to get rid of it. And that'll give me negative 12.7. Okay, here's another one. Multiplication. So therefore we divide to get rid of it. Do the same thing on the other side. Divide by negative 9. X equals negative 25 over 9, or if you prefer a decimal, negative 2.7 repeating. Here's another multiplication problem. So in order to get rid of the stuff that's multiplied, we have to divide by that stuff. There are shortcuts if you remember them. And 7 divided by 1/9 is 63. So 1/9 times 63 would equal 7 if you went back to check it. Now this should all be review for you because you've done this last year. A division problem. How do we undo a division? We multiply. So multiply by 12 to get rid of that divided by 12. And that leaves us with x equals 20 times 12, which is 240. Another division. We have to be careful here though. We're dividing by x. So there's a couple ways you could do this. I'm going to show you how to solve proportions, or remind you how to solve proportions here in the next video. But for now, whatever we're dividing by is what we have to multiply by. So because we're dividing by x, we have to multiply by x to cancel those out. And this problem turns into 12 equals 20x. Now, the 20 is with the x. We need to get rid of the 20. So we will divide by 20 on both sides. And there's what x equals. 12 over 20, which reduces to 6 over 10 as a decimal, 0.6. The last one down here, 12 equals 5x. We have to get rid of the 5 to get x by itself. It is being multiplied, so we will divide it. 12 over 5 is your answer. If you prefer a decimal, 2.4 is the same thing. So one-step problems, pretty much, you do the opposite of what's happening to the x. If something is being added to the x, you subtract it. If something's being multiplied, you divide it, etc. Good luck.